This is the Synapse from Vero Engineering. And as you can see, because you have eyes and you're watching this, it is an absolutely gorgeous knife. Now, I knew that before I went to the Blade Show booth of Vero Engineering. I just didn't know I was going to get one. And I didn't know how compelled I was going to be to get a Vero Engineering knife once I got there. But I'm happy to report, and there are a couple of other knife companies and their knives that I can say this about, having actually held them in hand finally. You know me, I'm always late to the party. But yeah, some of these knives are worth the hype, and the Vero Engineering knives are so well worth the hype. They've gotten a lot of attention over the past couple of years, I guess a year and a half maybe. And I come from a family of late adopters, let me put it that way. And there's always a little bit of hesitancy when something new comes out that everyone is scrambling to get. A little bit of hesitancy to get it, because you're like, well, you know, what do you mean Nirvana's a good band? What do you mean Forrest Gump is a good movie? Listen to me, I'm digging way back, I don't know why. But after having spoken with Joseph Vero on the show, I should have known, you know, just to hear about his design philosophy and to hear about what his goals are with his knife, with his knives, and then to cross-reference that with people's reactions to his knives, people I know and trust on the internet reviewing these things. I should have known to jump on them earlier, but I didn't. What can I say? I didn't jump on the Vero Engineering knives until I actually had one in hand. And I became an immediate fan. So this is the Synapse. This is a smaller version, or one of his smaller models. And well, needless to say, I want some of the larger ones now. And when I was at the table, now forgive me, I won't remember the name, but they had they had a prototype, I guess, of the new integral folder that they have. It's all titanium, all one slab of titanium milled out, and man alive, is that an amazing knife. So I had to get this. Now, what's so amazing about this? Okay, you know me, I'm gonna get superficial first and say it's just a beautiful thing to look at. It really is a beautiful knife. And then, okay, we'll get past that in a second. Look at that satin, that grinder satin. It's gorgeous. The raw titanium. And then in this case, I chose the natural canvas micarta, which over time will pick up some of my oils and some of the experience of carrying it, and it will get darker, kind of like it has on this side. I guess I have sweaty palms. The pocket clip, which some people have complained about being a little proud up here on the ramp, well, on the newer models, he's remedied that and flattened just the front portion out. And I'm here to tell you, it works. It works to get rid of any sort of hot spot you might have there. I don't really feel it much. I guess if I grip it a certain way, I wouldn't really use this knife in particular. I feel it, I'm aware of it, but that's about it. Bolster lock. This is my first bolster lock. And then I've gotten a couple of subsequent, since getting this one. I really dig that bolster lock, because you get the benefit of a frame lock, but your fingers aren't impeding the deployment of it by pressing down. So I love the action of it. I also just like the way it looks. You have this divot on this side of the blade put there just for the spidey flickers. So you know Joseph is a knife guy himself when he makes that consideration. Little details like this area behind the flipper, where you have a little extra landing pad there. Number 234, that's kind of cool. Number 234. This, by the way, is the second run of this knife. The integral titanium bolsters, a nice touch. So everything about this knife to me is pretty to look at and feels great in hand. Even the double finger swale, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the double or multiple finger choil, but in this case, it just works great. I prefer this grip where I come up right over the bolster there, but you can also come back here and then have more use of this really excellent grippy jimping. All right, but what's the real star of the show besides that action? I mean, I was gathering together some knives to compare this with, and I realized, you know, I don't have too many flippers, A, and B, I don't have too many knives with this kind of really genuinely fall shut action, like get your thumb out of the way kind of action. But to me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You might be able to tell I'm doing this early morning, and well, I got coffee next to me. You can see the stop pin in there. I like internal stop pins. But there it is. That is the real star of the show, if you ask me. This flipper. Perfectly out of the way, perfectly low profile, and perfectly jimped. And I guess I would say perfectly engineered and designed to give you incredible flipping action with essentially without having a flipper there at all. What this reminds me of, it reminds me of two things. Sort of the SLT mechanism on the 0055 or on the custom Cecchini knives, except that's a two-stage. It's kind of like a revolver trigger or something, or a double action automatic pistol where you pull it and then it engages here, and then you flip it, and as it comes out, it nestles into this side of the handle. It comes nestled over here, but you're still pulling something out. This also reminds me of the mods people were doing to the Boker Quaken in the early days before they made a flipper version of it. And guys were taking the knives apart and reducing this area of the front bolster area to reveal the bottom part of the tang. And then you could grab the bottom part of the tang and flip it out. Never had one of those, and I never experienced how it worked, but I am guaranteeing it didn't work as well as this. Just somehow I don't think it did. But this right here, just, I really appreciate that, because you get the best of both worlds. You get the flipper, the amazing flipping action and deployment, but it's very discreet. It's nestled away. Some people, Nick Shabazz uses the term pocket pecker, and a lot of people don't like having an extra little bit coming off the spine of their blade. To me, it's like a dorsal fin. It doesn't bother me, but I can see how it bothers other people if they have other stuff in their pocket and they don't want that extra protrusion. Well, this completely eliminates it without losing any performance, and I might say accelerating the performance. Just the way he has this set up is outstanding. So this has been riding in my pocket quite a bit lately, since I got it a couple weeks back, and whetting my appetite for more of these Vero Engineering knives. You'll forgive me at this early hour, I'm forgetting the name of some of their other models. I can hear you yelling at the screen right now telling me what they are. If only I could hear you, if only. But right off the bat, I can't think of them, and then I know I'll turn this off and then I'll remember them. But I want the big one now. Big one. He also has one coming out. Vero Engineering also has one coming out that has a really nice looking Tanto blade. They have the one that's a square sheep's foot blade. I can't remember the names. But this Synapse is just, man, I'm so happy I got it. And it was very nice meeting Joseph in person and his wife. They seem to run a tight ship and really do a great job with their with the business side of things too. It's not just designing a great performing and looking knife and then having it made or making it, it is about the marketing. It is about the experience that the customer gets at the point of sale, whether that's at a table at a knife show or through the internet and through their customer service. And I was very impressed with all of that. So yes, this is my Synapse. Let me show you it with a couple of other knives for comparison. Here it is with the RSK1, mini RSK1 from Hogue and Doug Ritter. And here it is, pretty much the same exact size as a bug out, lengthwise. It's beefier, but most things are beefier than the bug out, right? Here it is with the awesome new Rockwall by Tactile Turn, also about the same, close to the same length. And this is kind of a random smattering of my favorite smaller knives. This one also nearly the same size. The Concept K Maxrum designed Pelican. This is a cool knife. A little bit thinner than the Synapse. A couple more here. Here it is with one of the smoother, smaller knives I have, the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. You can see it's a more slender and discreet affair, at least in this direction. And then as far as super smooth flippers that I have, like I said, not too many. Here's the K2. See, this one still does not fall quite as radically as this one does, but the K2, much bigger knife. And then this one, the Finch Cimarron, really cool knife. I love that yellow and gray coloration. This one is really smooth, and it has a very light blade, so that's pretty impressive action. But nothing really in this ballpark in terms of style of knife and flipper. Like I said, I'm just not seeing many of these really small, discreet flippers like this. I just think that this is the coolest thing. It's like the Bruce Lee line, the art of fighting without fighting. This is the art of flipping without, or the art of flipper without flipper. It's just right there. And I love looking at it through the viewfinder in this light. Anyway, you'll be seeing this on and off. You know how I go on and on about things I really love. This right here, I'm looking forward to this naturally darkening. To be honest, I rubbed some mineral oil on it. This portion has always been a little bit darker. I think this was picked up a bit at Blade Show, and maybe some other people's sweaty hands got that. So these two portions have been darker all along. The other night I took some mineral oil and rubbed it in, and then I felt like, you know what, that's cheating. Plus you feel the oil, so I just took a cloth and kept burnishing it and basically pulled out the oil that I put in. I'm gonna let it sort of naturally patina on its own, and just become its own sort of beautiful thing. All right, anyway, I've talked too long. Thanks for checking this out. This is my Vero Engineering Synapse. This is from the second run, purchased at Blade Show 2021. Thanks for watching.